You can watch the iHeartRadio Music Festival on Hulu.
Right.
This Friday and Saturday, starting at 7 p.m. It'll be streaming live both nights, Friday and Saturday, starting at 7, right there on Hulu. The iHeartRadio Music Festival.
You made it in just in time. The Woody Show is back.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Hey. Getting into the trending news headlines. The auto union still on strike.
Right.
That's still going on.
Didn't they say Canada's close to working it out?
I think Ford in Canada did work it out.
Okay.
I believe.
What does that mean?
What they came to an
They
agreement.
were one of like the 3 separate strikers in Canada. Ford.
Because there was not a compromise. There was a. I think they said a deadline. They said, if it wasn't reached or progress wasn't made by whatever date, they were going to activate more sites to strike.
Well,
or
looks like
authorize more sites to
Canada's worked it out.
Yeah. Senator John Fetterman was in Michigan to support the striking auto workers, and while he was talking to reporters, he had a very clear message for the CEOs.
So my message to the CEOs is, it's $74 million, collectively earning that. How many yachts can they need, to water ski behind it? It's
Senator Menace.
Whoa.
Legit brain damage.
Oh,
no way.
Yeah, not his fault.
Wow.
But still, this goes back to the whole thing about we got these fossils and people who can't put a sentence together. And,
Right.
Something about water ski.
my message.
It's like Mike the Show Killer.
Yeah.
If Mike the Show Killer was a senator,
Right.
you guys oh, that guy.
Oh, no.
He's got his new job.
Right.
He's the program director of one of our affiliates, Alt 104.5 in Philadelphia, and he's already driving me mad.
Our
It's
old
only
boss
been a
is
week.
back.
Yeah, you want to hear one of the latest ones, Ravi?
Yeah.
This is an oldie but a goodie.
Okay.
Ravi Sports.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
gosh.
Too sportsy?
Too sportsy.
Ah, yes.
He
Too
said that
sportsy.
again?
He
Are you
did.
serious?
What does that mean?
Yes,
Right?
Learned his lesson.
He's got a really hard time keeping track of numbers, right? He's not a numbers guy, right? So when Ravi's saying the score was whatever to whatever, or like the Eagles game that he was referencing that Ravi was covering,
Right.
it was that big back and forth game.
Right.
Yeah.
It was back
Thursday
and forth.
night football.
Yeah, the whole story of the game was the back and forth of the game. So she's like, so then the Eagles went up 7-0, and then blah 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 blah. He's like, too many numbers. It's too sportsy.
Oh.
Driving me insane. Oh, and his other big thing was
Okay.
he goes, and he, by the way, he didn't say this to me directly. He said it to somebody else, and they got back to me.
Oh, okay.
He said, insensitivity training for a politically correct world. That's just not today.
What?
That's just not today. It's not the right vibe.
It's totally today.
That's exactly
That
who we are.
defines today.
That's exactly what we are.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
Oh
so,
my God.
and it's funny because the company, they do all this research all the time. They send out all these findings about kind of like where the temperature of people are in any given week or moment or whatever.
They'll send out
And
emails about it.
the most recent one was talking about how there is now all of a sudden a big shift back
A
from
backlash.
the wokeness to more of this, like people are like they've hit their limit. Like,
Good.
all right, it's gotten a little silly. So if anything, we were ahead of the curve.
That's right.
Yeah.
Insensitivity
Yeah,
training.
there's so many companies that are just falling off of all that stuff.
Yeah. So Senator Mike Kaplan.
My message to the CEOs is, it's $74 million, collectively earning that. How many yachts can they need, to water ski behind it? It's just crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Too sportsy.
Tell the show killer your phone is
You know what?
broken.
I got the steak the other day. It was okay. It was just too steaky.
It was just too meaty, that
Yeah,
steak.
like I had a glass of water. It was just too wet.
Way too wet. Way too wet.
Dumbass.
Mike, focus on marketing the station, not
he was so much-
micromanaging it.
He was so much better unemployed.
It was fun.
He was such a good friend.
Or even better when
Yeah,
he's not in my
drinks,
universe. Now he's back in my universe. It's like, ugh. God damn it, man.
Tell him your phone is broken.
Tell him the phone's broken.
Yeah,
The phone's not working. Where's Woody?
Where's Woody?
816. Canada is Unifor, not UAW, separate unions.
But
So,
still, they reached a
yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
Do
That's
what
good.
Unifor does.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah,
Unifor it.
Take what
Yeah.
Unifor did.
Greg Gorey, what are
Do
some
it.
of the other trending news headlines?
Well, the passenger who was filming and cackling while his buddy struck and killed a retired police officer in Las Vegas has been arrested. That unnamed suspect was taken into custody yesterday in Clark County, Nevada, and his identity hasn't been revealed because he's presumably a minor, like the accomplice, 17-year-old driver. That driver, according to prosecutors, should be tried as an adult. That's what they're
Good.
trying to do. He's facing a murder charge, and the DA officially is asking him to be tried as an adult.
Good.
And then there was something about this story that completely resonated with me, and that's what the victim's wife said in her statement about her husband being killed on his bike. She said, "It's not just about one victim. We as a nation are victims. We are victims of senseless crimes. We all need to show up and show our outrage in the courtroom."
Yeah.
Yeah.
She couldn't be
Yep.
more right. The crime
yeah.
is so rampant and so out of control.
You know what it is? It's like real life Grand Theft Auto. Like, and
Yeah.
not necessarily just this. It's everything.
Smash and grab.
Because in Grand Theft Auto, you can just run around town doing whatever you want.
Take whatever
With it,
you
yeah.
want.
Yeah. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know, but this is real life.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so out of control. This one I would file under controversial, interesting, and stupid.
Wow.
All right.
So, doctors and scientists in Mexico have studied those so-called alien fossils.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
little alien
There's-
fossils.
there's
We
the
already knew
stupid.
that, but yes.
Right? We know they did that, but their report is just out. They say they found, just relax, they found no evidence of any assembly or manipulation.
Oh, so it's
meaning
legit, yeah.
They don't think that they were human-made. They say this proves
Really?
that those weird alien things did belong to a single skeleton and were not pieced together. And they're also sticking with their egg story. Scientists say that one of them had these large lumps inside its abdomen.
Large
And those
lumps.
could be eggs. And they're sticking with the story that a third of their DNA is unknown to humans, and they're not of this earth. So that's their actual report.
Okay.
Now, one big skeptic I couldn't agree with more. He's a physics professor. He's calling for a DNA sample to be sent to a place like 23andMe for independent verification, and made a great point that it's very unlikely that an intelligent species that evolved on another planet would look like us, in the sense that it has like head, shoulders, arms, two
Right.
legs. If it's from another planet and it's an intelligent species, why would it look like human-like?
Right.
Well, Craig, how
Why?
do we not know that we're not from another planet?
Well, maybe we are.
Yeah.
And if you believe in God, God made us in his image.
In his image.
Right? So,
Right. So maybe
if
God
God's
made the
responsible for
universe.
everything, yeah.
Yeah, so.
He's like, I'm going to try this other kind of model over here.
yeah.
Like you get a Toyota, they have all different kinds of
Yeah.
models.
Sure,
you know what I
sure,
mean? Like the
sure.
Prius doesn't
Oh,
look like the
okay.
Tacoma.
Right.
Yep.
You know, they all have wheels or
but,
whatever,
the
but like,
essence is the same.
yeah, the essence is the same.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now I believe.
Yeah, yeah. You're just looking at it all wrong.
Okay. You're right. It's pretty reasonable and unsurprising. Bijou Phillips filed for divorce from Danny Masterson now that he's been sentenced to 30 years. She cited irreconcilable differences. Also wants.
How about my husband is
About-
going to prison for
Yeah.
rape?
Convicted rapist?
Right.
You know.
Well, when
Let's
I
just rubber stamp that one. Like, there's a lot of, when you go through a divorce, anybody who's been through a divorce knows all the stupid steps that you got to go through, all the stupid things you got to file. It's a pain in the ass. It's
Right.
tedious. Even if it's just like completely on both sides, everything's cool. It's not contentious in any way. Everybody's agreed to it. It's still this big process. It sucks. Something like that, or something like this situation, just go, okay.
All right.
What is it the business of the city or the state to
Right.
say like who should be?
Right.
Well, how
They
long
want
have you
your money.
have you had a cooling off period?
Well, I'm sure it's different in every state. When I filed for divorce, the reason that you only had two choices.
Yeah, you
So
can put there like, turns out I'm gay.
Yeah, you had irreconcilable differences, and then
Okay.
the other one was some other extreme. Like I can't remember what it was, but
Yeah.
something like I entered this marriage under duress, or
Oh, yeah.
you know, whatever the case.
False
It
pretenses
was
or something like that.
irreconcilable differences. This vague term.
My divorce had to be filed when I was living in Chicago, so it was with the city of Chicago, state of Illinois, and man, all these stupid questions. Well, how long have you been living apart? There was a certain amount of time you had to live apart before you could even move on to the next step.
Right.
So we had heard about that. My wife and I had heard about that, so we just fudged the number
Oh.
and said, "Oh yeah, she's
Yeah,
been-
how would they know?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
she
true,
moved
huh?
out like however long. Like it's like,
2 years ago.
what do you care?
Right.
Why do you care if we work it out? Like we've decided that we're not going to work it out.
Isn't New York like that too? It's like takes forever.
See, I don't know. I only know about Illinois, and it was such a pain in the ass. Because I did all the filing myself. We didn't even need lawyers.
Right.
We just worked it out, done, filed everything.
Yeah, I thought it was surprisingly easy. Bijou wants spousal
Expensive.
support, attorney fees, custody of their daughter, and she wants to restore her legal name back to Bijou Phillips.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you get spousal support when you got divorced?
Did
Sammy?
I?
Yeah.
No, I had to pay him.
You did?
What?
Yes.
Oh,
Yikes.
high five, sister. I was in that.
Rip.
I was in that boat.
Nice. How much do you have to pay for how long?
We just kind of agreed. We made kind of an agreement, and I just
Yeah.
gave him a lump
A
sum.
lump sum?
lump sum.
Isn't that good?
What?
You did that, right?
I did
Craig?
lump sum.
And how long were you married again?
A year,
Oh, a year.
Oh, 1 year.
God, I wouldn't have given him anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he
I
cheated
know.
on you, allegedly.
allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, like,
Yeah.
my wife and I, we were married. My first wife and I, we were married for 5 years, no kids. We both worked. I still had to pay her. And that's the thing. We did it without lawyers because I consulted with
Yeah.
a couple of lawyers. They go, well, here's what you're looking at if you go before a judge and whatever. And so I worked out something. Look, we could save a bunch of money and hassle on lawyers and everything. Here's what I would owe you anyway. And that number was insane considering, she wasn't a stay-at-home,
Right.
a homemaker. She wasn't, staying home with, we didn't have kids, nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's responsible for so much. Why? Because at
Yeah.
one point we were married.
I'm a little
Right.
fascinated by this, Sammy. You had to pay him
Yes.
a lump sum. What was the reasoning that you had to do that?
What do you mean? What was the reason?
Like, did you own property together? You had to give him a portion
No,
of
I
it? Like,
I owned the house.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
He didn't.
So you
Okay.
bought
Did you
him
make
out
I
of
bought
that?
it.
Did you
What?
make
No,
more
no,
money than he did?
Yes.
Okay, so there's
And
that too.
I bought the house before we were married.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the house was mine. His name wasn't on it.
Yeah.
All
so she
right.
was the breadwinner, number one. Number two, she had a house, so she had more assets.
Right.
And so
Okay.
therefore, he's become accustomed in that 1 year to a certain lifestyle. See?
Right. So it was
You
like
know.
a certain amount, like per month for that 1 year. That's sort of basic. So I just agreed with them because neither of us really wanted to fight. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, I'll give you some money, like whatever, that's fine.
Yeah.
But then I was the one who filed for divorce. And I did get lawyers because there's so much paperwork
There's a
and
lot of
so
paperwork.
many things to go through. So he got served the papers and he just defaulted. So he didn't have to do anything. He just went like,
Wow.
yeah, I'm cool with this. And then I'm the one paying for the lawyers,
Yeah.
bringing in my, tax stuff and bank accounts and all this, everything to all get filed. And he didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Wonder she's so
Wow.
bitter.
Okay, see,
I would be better too.
I did all the legwork on mine too, but here's the thing that you guys can know about. Like if everything's amicable, that's the word I was
Yeah.
trying to come up with before. I couldn't do it. If everything's amicable, you guys have figured out whatever your agreement's going to be, and you don't want to get lawyers involved, which is way easier. And they're the ones who are going to make all the money, right?
Right.
You can do all the paperwork for wherever you live, whatever county you're in, everything else, all online. Like the LegalZoom thing.
Oh yeah.
Is so easy. It's like TurboTax. You fill out all. It asks you
walk
the
you through
questions.
everything.
It prints the documents exactly what you need to go down to the courthouse and file. And other than that kind of stuff, and having to come back 3 days later and get the whatever, and get this notarized and all the. But you're doing all the work on that, but you're saving a ton of money on the legal fees. If everything's amicable, if they're going to be a
Yeah.
pain in the ass, which I wasn't sure about my ex-wife, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't
Especially
know
the way it ended.
because her mother I thought was going to really kind of get in the middle. So what I did is I consulted. Here's another pro tip, fellas or ladies. Find out who the top family lawyers are in your area and do a consultation with each one of them. Find like the top 5 or 6, because by doing a consultation with those lawyers, your spouse, soon to be ex, can't sign with them. So you've taken out all the top family lawyers because they've already consulted with the person who they're going to be going against.
This is a pro tip right there.
Yeah, and I heard that from a lawyer, and I'm like, that's great. So I looked up the top 5 lawyers in the city of Chicago, family lawyers in the city of Chicago, where I was at the time, and I just had a consultation with each one of them, which took up a little bit of time. But
Did you have to pay for the consultation?
no, all the consultations are always free. But because they already met with you and whatever, it's then in conflict of interest, they can't represent the other person.
Interesting.
Smart.
Boom. I don't know if they've changed that now, because this is a long time ago
Sure,
now.
sure,
They might have
sure.
changed that. But at the time, and at least in the state of Illinois, that was the case.
Fascinating.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I probably saved you like $1 billion.
Yeah.
I did mine through this company called We the People. I think they still exist. Think of it in terms of like the free clinic of divorces. Because because I was unemployed.
Like a back alley divorce.
Right, kind of. But I mean, it was all legit, and they handled everything. It was pretty damn easy.
I remember you telling me you had to write like a huge check
massive check
to your ex-wife.
And that's because you had a house together, right?
Yeah, it was not fun. Let's just say that.
Greg doesn't like writing that check for the power bill. You know?
Yeah.
Can you imagine writing that check?
Or to myself.
Yeah.
Lastly, Vanna White's going to be staying on Wheel of Fortune for at least another 3 years, 2 seasons at least. She and Sony finally figured out her new deal, and they extended her contract through 2026.
I'll have to reach out to Vanna, my new close personal friend.
I know. I was thinking about that.
I was on that flight with her recently. My wife and I.
Yep.
Congratulate her.
My wife and Vanna bonded, and had a nice conversation, hung out for a while, and talked. Even after we got to our destination, as we hung out, our friends joined us. We introduced them to our new friend Vanna. Nick Cage was also on that flight, which it was very strange.
Lucky.
Yeah.
They're not saying what she got in her new deal, but they say it is a substantial raise. And an insider, by the way, said that Sony had been, quote, very difficult during the negotiations.
Well, Vanna, next time we meet up, you're paying for dinner, girl.
Yeah, you are.
All in. Hey.
That's the latest one.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. More Woody shows next. Hang on.